Hey guys, I'm doing the interview. Be quiet.
How you doing today?
Hey, how you doing? I'm alright.
I'm doing good myself. My first question is, what sparked your interest in boxing, and did you ever envision yourself becoming a trainer at the highest level in boxing?
I've always been interested in boxing ever since I was a little kid. I actually grew up watching a lot of fights, but played basketball as a youth, and I started getting into boxing a little bit later in life. Um, I went to college, so I couldn't really pursue a career the way I wanted to. But boxing was always a big interest of mine. And one day, Julian asked me to start working with him, and it kind of just took off from there. And I got some more fighters, and he became very successful. And now here we are. But I always envisioned a lot of success. I'm always, everybody has high expectations for themselves. So I always knew that I would be a good trainer. It's just a matter of just having the right fighter at the right time.
I definitely agree, and I'm glad to see that not only you, but Julian J Rock is in the position that y'all in now. It's great to see that. My next question is, what trainers, if any, do you study past or present that you may take a little bit of what they implement in their training style and add it to your style of training?
I read a lot.
Hmm.
I study a lot of old fighters, and then I study like their techniques and things like that. I like George Benton.
Okay.
I study a lot of Sugar Ray Robinson.
Okay.
I believe his trainer's name was George Gainford. I listen to a lot of Customato, Emmanuel Stewart, Bill Miller. I think Freddie Roach is a great trainer. And currently, though, actually, who I get a chance to talk to is Virgil Hunter.
Oh,
I think he's a phenomenal trainer. He's very cerebral. And then, obviously, you always want to have your own style and you do things according to what you want to do. But I definitely study different fighters depending on the opponent that we have or whoever I'm training for the fight. I'll look at that opponent and then I'll try to match up a guy. For example, Julian's about to fight Jamal Charlo, so I will look at maybe a tape of Donald Curry versus Milton McCory,
okay.
With Julian being Donald Curry and McCory being Charlo, so you can kind of get both guys are the same relative height, length, and styles. You see what I'm saying? And then I'll look at little things Curry was able to do to McCory, and I'll try to implement that and try to do, you know what I mean? That's a lot of things. I do things like that. But those are the guys that I kind of look at their style. And I just look at different fighters, different little techniques that they've used throughout the years, and I'll say to one of my guys, yo, man, we need to try that. Or, next couple of sparring sessions, I want you to work on this move or work on that move. And it works out. Julian is, he's the best fighter that I have up until this point. And, he'll implement different things that I tell him to do that I've seen a fighter from back in the past did it, during their prime or whatever.
Definitely. Speaking of that, I was gonna get to that question a little later, but since you confirmed it, that fight between Jamal and Julian is definitely one of the most anticipated fights in sport. I mean, in the sport of boxing this year or any year it could be, potentially made. Both guys have tremendous boxing skills. Both guys are young, hungry, and can punch. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Early thoughts,
I'm just happy that the fight is done, supposedly. We've been the mandatory since March. The fight was being talked about for a whole year. So I'm just happy that the fight has been able to get done. And I'm very confident. I'm not a trash talker. I got a lot of respect for Jamal and his team or whatever. I'm very confident that Julian's gonna win the fight, though. Without giving away the game plan or anything like that. I just believe that I have the better fighter. But we're gonna have to find out that night in the ring, and we'll see. But I'm expecting an electrifying performance. I'm expecting him to put his stamp on the division and for the whole world to see what I already knew. he's the best fighter in the division. He just hasn't had the same opportunities that everybody else has had.
And a lot of people, would agree that he is the favorite going into this fight. Although Charlo is the champion. And then speaking of him not having the opportunities, that's kind of surprising seeing that he's with Al Heyman, who pretty much manages every fighter that's relevant, from welterweight on up. Could you really explain a little bit to why he hasn't really had the opportunities as like the Charlo twins or whoever it may be?
You know what? I don't know. I guess that's just the plan. So everybody is going to go to their own pace. We got a lot of trust in Al Heyman. Maybe that was the plan for things to go this way. And I'm just happy to be in this situation right now. And whatever's meant to happen does happen. So if he's getting his opportunity right now, then he's getting his opportunity at the right time. And that's just the way I'm going to look at it. Sometimes when you give a kid too much too early, they don't appreciate it. So he's had to work for everything he's got. He has a lot of hunger, a lot of animosity. He has a chip on his shoulder. And I'm glad that he hasn't had the opportunities that other guys have had, because he trains with a chip on his shoulder and he fights with a chip on his shoulder. So, that works out for him. He's the kind of kid that he uses things like that as fuel, not as a hindrance. So that's all right. We'll make up for that lost time after this fight.
Pretty sure you will. And definitely watching him fight and then listen to him talk, you definitely can tell and you can feel the passion and the hunger and the love for this sport, and his knowledge is top level for a fighter, man. And so he definitely embodies everything that you love about the sport of boxing. My next question is, what are your thoughts, besides J-Rock, what are your thoughts on the junior middleweight division as a whole? Who do you see as his potential biggest threat, if you even look at it or think about it in that, light?
I got eyes. I can see it's a lot of good fighters in the division. You got Canelo coming back. You got Liam Smith. Kell Brook is probably going to fight at 54 after the Golovkin fight. He probably won't be able to make 47 again. You got Jamal's brother, also an excellent fighter. You got Landy Lara. You got a young fighter in Erickson Lubman coming up. You got Demetrius Andre. You got some fighters, Julian has his work cut out for him in this division, but that's what we're here for. 154 is stacked. He should make a lot of money for a long time in his division over the next 4 or 5 years. To me, it's the best division in boxing. It's absolutely loaded.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll see. We'll see. The best fighter that comes out of this is probably going to go to the Hall of Fame. Everybody just has to be willing to fight everybody. But this is the first one. This is the first time that 2 of these young guys have actually said, all right, we're going to fight and get in the ring. So hopefully it comes off. I'm looking forward to it as a fight fan and as a trainer. This is something Julian's been wanting for a very, very long time after he called Jamal out after he beat Luciano Coelho last September. So it's a stacked division. I think that this fight, the winner of this fight has to be number 2, at least in the division. Everybody says that Lara is the best fighter in the division, but he can't fight the Charlo brothers, but we can fight Lara. So, if they don't want to fight each other, we'll fight all of them to figure out who the best is.
Yeah, I definitely agree. A fight I would love to see down the line, and this is just me speaking as a fan, is Demetrius Andrade and J-Rock. I really picture y'all those two as the 2 best guys, in my opinion. And I definitely think that, those styles would mesh well and it would be a great fight. So that's just me. But another question is, what is a Stephen Edwards training camp like in terms of, the physicality you put your fighters through?
It's intense, strenuous, but at the same time, I'm very conscious to not overtrain my guys. Fighters usually work out twice a day. You do your run in the morning, then you come to the gym in the afternoon. They have different types of runs that they do. Sometimes runs are for endurance. Sometimes they run for explosive purposes. Then they go to the gym. I try to mix the workouts up at the gym. You don't want to be too monotonous. where you're doing the same thing every day. Some days we may just shadow box and work on technique, and skill. I think that's the lost art of boxing. Everybody wants to do so much strength and conditioning and fancy exercises and working muscles that they don't really need, and they get away from the skill level. And that's why I think that fighters starting about 20 years ago are better than fighters today. So we still work on a lot of skill stuff. Obviously, we do strength stuff also. But we do something different every day. Sometimes it'll be, we'll work on each station, heavy bag, speed bag, pad work, mid work. Sometimes we'll just concentrate on a specific move. Obviously, when you have to spar, you have to change things around. So it's intense. We're in the gym about an hour and a half to 2 hours every day. And then, we're at the track for about 45 minutes to an hour in the morning, and I give them days off as needed. If he's starting to drag a little bit or we had a really couple murderous workouts, I'll give them a couple of days off because it's important at this level not to overtrain guys. I see so many fighters get in the ring and they're so drained and so overtrained that they can't really recover, for the fight. They'll stay in the gym for 4 hours. You don't have to train 4 straight hours for a 36-minute fight, So I'm very conscious of that. So it's a good mix, but it's intense. No nonsense, Obviously, this can't. Everything goes up. The focus goes up. This is it. He has to win this fight. You know what I mean? So his life is on the line. That's how we looking at it. So it's gonna be a very intense camp. It's gonna be brutal for his sparring partners. We're gonna have to pay him well.
Hey, at this level, like you said, everything is enhanced and rightfully so. And I look forward to hearing how his camp progresses. I got 2 more questions for you. My next question is, what is your take on Canelo Alvarez and now Triple G, both having welterweights come up 13 pounds to fight them, or whatever it was with Canelo? I mean, Khan came up 8 pounds, basically skipping over a whole division to fight them when they had guys in their division as well as the junior middleweight division calling them out. What is your take on that?
Well, I think that Canelo and Triple G, they're in different situations. I think that Canelo, I actually think he's a great fighter. Took some really tough fights. I think that he's just not ready to fight Triple G at this point in time. That's just the problem in a nutshell. People want to say it's a lot of different things, but that's just really it. He's just a little young. He's 26, and they're not really ready to risk him against somebody like Triple G. Triple G is a brutal fighter. He could take fights off of your career, and Canelo is a big money maker. So you don't risk him against a guy like Triple G at this particular stage in his career. And that's really all it is to it. People make up different things. As far as the Khan fight, it was a money fight. But Canelo took some tough fights in his career. He fought Lara when he didn't have to. He challenged Trout in the unification fight. He challenged Mayweather. So, the Khan fight was a money fight. I wasn't as offended as a lot of people was. But, it was kind of a gimmicky fight.
Yeah.
But, it's boxing. It's been done before. Oscar did the same thing with Manny. You know what I mean? It just didn't turn out the way Oscar thought it was going to turn out. It's happened before. Khan took a fight. You guys may not realize this, but Khan fought Marco Antonio Barrera.
Yeah.
Towards the end of his career, people don't realize it. They forget it. It happens in boxing more times than we care to remember. So it happened in that fight. Floyd fought Marquez. It happens sometimes. Triple G and Kell Brooks, I think it's just a different scenario. Triple G was trying to fight Chris Eubank, trying to fight Billy Joe Sanders. He was obviously in communication with the people over in the UK, and those guys didn't want to fight him. Triple G is the boogeyman, whether the people in the media understand that or not. Nobody wants to fight Triple G. Fighters don't want to fight Triple G. Guys in his division come up with excuses not to fight him. They make up lies to the public, and they act like things are happening. The dude is a really, really good fighter. He's a brutal puncher, and nobody really wants to chance that. So they make up different excuses. And, I see a lot of things on the inside of boxing that I really don't want to speak on, but that's just the flat out truth. You know, guys don't want to fight him in his division. The only person that was eager to fight Triple G was Andre Ward. That's it. Nobody else. Don't let nobody tell you no lies. So they had to. The guy can't sit around. He has a money machine behind him. Mm-hmm. They offered to fight the Kell Brook. They overpaying him. I'm not even gonna say overpaying him. They paying him a handsome salary, and he's gonna take the fight. It's just that simple. Because Eubank didn't want the fight. Billy Joe Sanders didn't want the fight. It's pretty obvious that Canelo don't want to fight him. So at this stage in his career, he's 34 years old. He has to fight. So when people give him shit about the Kell Brook fight, you know, I think that those same people should give the fighters who are ducking him the same shit, because that's the reason why the Kell Brook fight can't happen. Who do you think Triple G would rather fight, Canelo or Kell Brook? There's more money in the Canelo fight.
Definitely. I definitely think he would, and you know, like
and Canelo is the lineal champion. That's what he wanted to fight. But what is he supposed to do? See, when you sit around and you chase a certain opponent, and that opponent drags you along, then you look like a fool. You know what I'm saying? You have to go out and make fights. If a guy wants to make a fight, he wants to make a fight. If not, then you move on to the next guy. You don't let a guy take months and years off of your career chasing them. If you notice, Khan did that with Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. He got played every time.
Yeah, he did.
He would keep going after Mayweather. Floyd would dangle the prize in front of his face and then rip it away. And Khan looked like a fool. You know what I mean? You can't do that. You know, in Triple G, he needs to stay sharp. He needs to fight. And I don't blame him for taking the fight. If nobody wants to fight him, he said, all right, I'm going to take a money fight. And I don't blame him. You know, you got to earn a living, and you have to keep, it's boxing at the end of the day. You have to keep sharp. You can't just sit out a whole year chasing a guy that don't want to fight you.
I definitely agree with that, but you said the only guy that wanted to fight him was Andre Ward. Why do you think that fight didn't come together? Because I read a lot on the internet where Triple G or his people were willing to go up to 168 for Carl Froch or Gilberto Ramirez or Eubank Jr., but they wanted Andre Ward to come down and meet them at 164. So do you think the same thing that goes for guys in 160 goes for Andre Ward in terms of Triple G not really wanting to fight him?
Yes. Okay. Yep. I think that Triple G's people know how dangerous a fight that Andre Ward was, and I think that you really can't call it a duck because he wasn't in the same division. Mm-hmm. But I think that they admitted by asking for the weight reduction that Andre Ward is more dangerous than those other guys. So they wanted advantages in their court. And I think that they said, you know what, if we got to fight this guy, we need an advantage. We got to bring him down to 64. Noah Ward can't make 64. You know, they got out of the fight. But, you know, I'm a firm believer in you can't duck a guy that's not in your division. Yep. So they weren't in his division, so you can avoid a fight by not moving up. But I don't consider that to be a duck. There's a difference between a duck and you avoiding the fight. And I just think that they personally avoiding the fight. You just have to just be objective. Ward is a great fighter, and he's bigger. Yep. You know what I mean? So he said, well, you know what? Some guys we can move up for, but we're not moving up for that guy. You know what I mean? And that's boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's the way it goes. You know what I mean? But I'm honest about it. And I'm a Triple G and Andre Ward fan. I just don't think Triple G was ready to take that fight. But he's not a super middleweight, so you know it's not the same as guys in your division avoiding you. That if Ward was 160 pounds and Triple G did that, that's a duck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's a difference in not wanting to move up and fight a certain guys. You got some great fighters that won't move up and fight certain guys. Guillermo Rigondeaux's a great fighter. He won't go past 122 pounds. He just won't do it. You know what I mean? So everything all depends. It's like Triple G, if Julian wins the title, Julian's not ducking Triple G because he hasn't moved up to fight him. He can choose to go up and fight him, but it's not a duck if he doesn't go up to fight him. So I definitely think that Triple G did not want to fight with Andre Ward at 168. But I think that the guys at 160 pounds that are in his division want nothing to do with them.
I agree. You dropping a lot of dimes on me. I'm enjoying this interview. I got another question. I had one more, but speaking of Ward, do you feel that they kind of forced him to move up to 175 and kind of the way they, I don't want to say manipulated it in the public, but it made it seem like he was trying to, stay at 168 for whoever, because we know he cleaned out the division. But do you think they kind of forced his hand to move to 175 and force this fight with Kovalev, which we all want to see, but maybe Ward wasn't necessarily ready to move up to 175 just yet?
That's a good question. He's kind of says that, and his people kind of say that. That's a good question. I really don't know enough behind the scenes, but from what all my research and everything I read, they pretty much stipulated that in the contract that he had to, if he was going to get the HBO contract that he wanted, he had to move up and fight Kovalev. They had to agree to fight each other. So, by them agreeing to fight each other, then that's the contract that he had to get. So is it a force? I don't know if it's a force, but it kind of looks like one. You know what I mean? You have to ask Andre Ward that question. You know what I mean? See, I'm not one of those people that believe that a fighter has to move up. I never say that. Like, what if your body is natural at that weight?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, through time, opponents invent themselves. You know what I mean? They just come. Like right now at 168, you got James DeGale.
Mm-hmm.
You got Bodu Jack. You have
you got Andre Anthony still there.
You got the kid you just named, Gilberto Ramirez. And they weren't around for Ward's dominant run, but they're around now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So through time, opponents will invent themselves. You know what I mean? That's just the way it goes. So through time, he would have had fights, but I'm glad we're getting a Ward Kovalev fight. But that's a question that you have to ask Ward. But I don't think a fighter should ever be forced to move up. If it hurts his legacy, it hurts his legacy. But that's on them. You know what I mean? Just say a guy has to move up. I hear fans say that. Well, Marlon Hagler didn't move up. Carlos Monzon didn't move up.
True.
Costa Azul didn't move up. Terry Nars didn't move up. Aaron Pryor didn't move up. Some guys are just naturals at that weight.
Yeah,
Not saying my man didn't move up, and you create a legacy. I've seen guys, my man, move up to avoid fights and act like they can't make weight no more when a new monster come into the division.
Oh, yeah.
How long do guys stay at 122 now?
Not long.
Lionel Riggedy all came and he grew 122 and boom, they asses jump right up to 26 because they don't want to be bothered with him.
Yeah, Frampton and Santa Cruz, yeah, they definitely did that.
Yeah, so you got to peep things on a lot of different levels, man. I just sit back and I listen to people and I just shake my head because most people, as Roger Mayweather say, they don't know shit about boxing.
Mm-hmm.
When a monster come in the division, now watch this. At 160, there's gonna be guys that don't want to move up because if you move up, I mean, the guys at 154, they gonna want to stay there because the monster is walking around at 160. So if you move up to 160, you know what everybody gonna say? Oh shit, you gotta fight Triple G now. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works.
Go ahead.
I just don't think that a fighter has to move up if you naturally make a weight. Mm-hmm. That's what I think. I think if you outgrow a weight, then move your butt up and take on some bigger challenges. But if you can naturally make a weight and you're not struggling to make a weight and you'll compromise your performance at a higher weight, I don't have a problem with a guy staying at a weight for his career and being a dominant fighter as long as he's willing to fight the best available competition continuously.
I agree with that, but a lot of people felt that. Not saying I felt that way, but when you think about it with Canelo, he created the 155-pound Canelo weight is what people call it, but now he's coming back to 154. A lot of people saying that, he
avoided Triple G.
He avoided Triple G, but he also
it ain't rocket science. That's what he did.
And
Canelo.
He also avoided, J Rock and Andre, the Charlos, because
but now he's stuck between rock and the hard place. Because if he move up he gotta fight the monster. If he stayed down there, which he struggles to make weight, he gotta fight 2-3 kids that probably could beat him. I think Andre and Julian could beat him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Abel Sanchez said that in the press conference. He said, man, what Canelo gonna do at 54? He might can't beat Julian Williams.
Yeah, I mean,
Julian fought one of Abel Sanchez's fighters, a kid named Michael Medina, 2 years ago. So he's familiar with him. So, but it's a tough spot to be in. You know what I mean? That's why as a fighter, you need to look the monster in the face. And if he's in your division, he's in your division. Because Triple G is a man like everybody else. And when Julian can't make the weight division no more, gonna move up and fight him.
That's what I like.
You know what I mean? It's just that simple. Right now he can make 154. But if he ever gets to a point where he can't make 154, I'm not gonna kill him to make 154 because Triple G is at 160. He's gonna move up and fight him. You know what I mean? Because Triple G is a man at the end of the day. He's not a machine. He's a man, and any man can be hurt, and any man can be beat on the right given day. You know what I mean? Kasim Oma fought him just good.
Yeah.
Watch that fight on YouTube. People forget about that. Kasim Oma fought him. He wasn't scared of him. You just can't be afraid of him. He's just a man. He's a great fighter, but he's just a man. But in this era, you got guys that just act funny about shit like that.
Yeah.
And they don't want to fight the man.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm glad I'm talking to you because you keeping it real, and a lot of people in the media, not myself, but people like to make out or just brag about, it's good, it's understandable to give fighters their credit, but when it comes to Triple G, and I've grown to be a fan, but they talk about him as just everybody's scared of him. Just because 160 is scared of him don't mean, you call out a name, J-Rock, for instance, like he won't accept their challenge, so, I mean...
No, there's guys that are fighting, you know what I mean, Kell Brook fighting him.
Yeah.
There's guys that'll fight him, it's just guys in his division that ain't ready to fight him. I think Toriano Johnson are fighting.
They just know the guys that won't fight him. They
just know the guys that won't fight him. Canelo won't fight him. No, I'm not going to call no other guys out. I mean, you know who the top guys are in the division. But it's guys that'll fight him. But they just got to just stop viewing them as a machine and as a monster. Because if you view them like that, you're never going to beat them. If you view them as a human being, then, human beings die. Human beings bleed. They hurt. So you can fight them. It's just, Andre Ward didn't have a problem with fighting. He smocks him. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear Triple G knocking the door down to fight him because Andre Ward looks at him as a human being. These guys don't look at him as a human being, and they run from him, and they make excuses, and they got mandatory shots at him, and they won't even exercise the mandatory. Julian was the mandatory, knowing he had to fight Jamal. You think we're gonna turn down a mandatory? No, we're gonna exercise the mandatory. We call the IBF once a week to find out what's going on. We want to fight. That's what you're in boxing for, to fight the best. And there's people that think Jamal can kick Julian's butt. Too big, too strong. But we're going to find out in the ring if he's too big and too strong. You know what I mean? I know that my guy wants to fight, and the best soldiers are volunteers, and he volunteered for the fight. So we're going to find out October 1st if he's too big and too strong.
I can't wait. And my last question is kind of a fun question. If you could train any fighter, I guess, I don't want to say present because, I don't want to be sounding disrespectful to J-Rock, but any fighter from the past, if you could train them, who would it be and why?
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Okay.
Because he's just absolutely the best fighter, the best build, the best punching technique. He just, what you see in him, a tape of him is just, if you get a chance, YouTube, Sugar Ray Robinson versus Gene Stock.
Okay.
Nobody should be able to punch that way. The dude's last name is Stock.
Okay.
I think he was maybe 28 or 29 years old when he fought him. It's just, it would be Sugar Ray Robinson. Julian won't get offended if it's a present guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm training the guy presently. Julian has a special way about the way he punches. He has a special way about little things that he does. If you ever hear him hit the pads, it just sounds different from everybody else. He's like a violent scientist. He has a way of hitting you, man. He can make you physically sick if he keeps hitting you. I've seen him do it. the sparring partners where they're just not right for a few days. Besides him, I will probably say in a current state of boxing, what do I like? I'll probably say Rigondeaux.
Okay, that'll be. I definitely could probably see you bringing out the offensive side of him more.
Yeah, man, he's a really, really talented fighter, man. You don't get guys that talented, man. He's a talented fighter, man. It's a shame that, you know, he hasn't caught on with the public and he fights in such a low weight division, man. But he's that guy is, I know boxing talent when I see it. And his reflexes, his hand-eye coordination, his punch release, his sense of distance and timing, that shit is like, it's a God-given gift, man. He's extremely, he's one of the top 3 or 4 most talented fighters in the history of boxing. I'm not saying best.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about boxing talent.
Yeah. Talent
that you need in boxing. You know, him, Ray Robinson, you know, Roy Jones, you know, Muhammad Ali, Ray Leonard. That's the kind of talent he has. His talent level is just amazing, man. You gotta just look at little things that he does. It's just like, it would be Guillermo Rigondeaux. He's a supernatural fighter, man.
Those the best ones to work with, kind of, you know, they just, you know, you give them, you know, you
can tell that he processes things in a different way. You could tell him something, and he just has it. You know what I mean? He's the kind of guy you probably can teach him a move. And you ever see him like playing around shadow boxing with his feet on the videos? It's just amazing. He's a supernatural talent, man. If I could train a guy, man, I would love to train that guy, man.
Hey man, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Maybe, hopefully, closer to the fight, we can do this again. Like I said, you've been dropping a lot of knowledge. Great interview. Could you let your fans, you know, tell them about your social media, where they can reach you and get in contact with you?
It's Breadman Boxing on Twitter and the Bread_man on Instagram.
All right, man. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully, we can do this again. Hope everything goes well in J-Rock's training camp, and we'll see y'all October 1st.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate it.
Take it easy. There you have it. I just wrapped up an interview with up-and-coming trainer Stephen Breadman Edwards. He trains IBF mandatory challenger Julian J-Rock Williams. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like this video, subscribe to Colossal Boxing Talk, head over to Facebook, like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter at Colossal CBT.
Yeah, we know we knock them down. You know we knock them down. 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 Yeah, knock them down. Yeah, knock them down. Oh yeah, you know that we knock 'em down. CBT.